All right, let's go to our special guest, my good friend, broadcast partner for softball, baseball, and soon-to-be high school football this fall on Q92. Brian Beatty joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show. B. Beatty, how you doing this afternoon?
Great, Sammy. How you doing?
I'm good. Now, I'm a little bit on delay with you, so I don't see you yet. I'm afraid to ask, are you in front of the pool yet? Because I don't see it.
Yeah, I actually am. I'm in the backyard. The kids are in the pool. I am not in the pool. So,
all right. Well, you're going to be popping up on my phone here in about 15 seconds, and I'll be able to see if you're fully telling me the truth or not. But hey, it's a great day to be in the pool. And also, I'm sure you've seen the long-range forecast through like July 5th and 6th. You're going to want to keep that pool open 24 hours a day.
Yeah, it's good. It's supposed to get extremely warm. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Oh, man. All right, so a couple of things we kind of want to kick around here a little bit today, and you're pretty close to the situation with your daughter and playing flag football. And the OHL, there you are. Oh, you got your BW T-shirt on today. Okay.
I had to support B-Dub today. Yeah,
I like it.
I know Coach Harrison might get on me, but I have to support my B-Dub, my Yellow Jackets. So
I'm gonna have to be the buffer there.
There you go. He's a good one. I was talking to him the other day. He's a great guy.
Oh, I love Rick. All right, so the OHSAA has sanctioned girls flag football officially. It's going to become a varsity sport beginning the 2026-27 school year. This was on like a little trial period, I guess, with several teams in Northeast Ohio and all over the state. And I guess it did very, very well. And it's becoming very popular. And they said, okay, let's go. Let's pull the trigger on this. It's now an officially sanctioned varsity sport. Brian, your thoughts on this? You probably saw this coming. And what does this mean? And how do you think it'll be received? Attendance, popularity, discussion. Let's kind of walk down that path right now.
Yeah, I had it firsthand with my daughter playing at West Branch this year. Looking at the popularity, what's nice about it, it's a spring sport, but they play it on Sunday. So we had a lot of track athletes, softball athletes who also played flag football. So you can be in multiple sports and still not take away. What's nice for the school itself, it's not a real expensive sport. It's a good Title IX filler. You have the stadiums. It's not real expensive to outfit. They just need a ball. The flags are provided by the NFL. And this past year, the uniforms were provided by the NFL also. So that was nice. So there's not much expense to the school. Now, when you do play on Sunday, you play up to 3 games, 3 different opponents. They're 20-minute quarters, and then they're running clocks till the last 5 minutes. So it's a quick pace game. And like I said, we played up in the Warren area. So we had 11 teams, including West Branch there each week on a Sunday. So you had a lot of teams playing. The field is 5-on-5. So it was fast action, and the attendance, was unbelievable. You had great attendance because you had all the teams there and playing, so they had concessions open and everything that way. So it was well attended, a Sunday afternoon, you're in and out within 3-4 hours tops, and sometimes you only played 1 game or up to 3 games. So it was nice. And then each area of the state, you would win, whoever won their league, I guess you say region, then went on to play in the regionals and then on to state. So it was really nice, well ran. You had the officials there, and it was competitive, and the girls got after it. It was fun to watch.
So, Brian, will they stay with said format moving forward? Like, do you ever see a point where this would be like a standalone, and say Team X would host Team Y at their facility and turn on the lights on a Sunday night, and it would just be 2 teams? Or is it always going to be, hey, you're going to have a group here, we're going to play a bunch of games, it may take 3 or 4 hours, but we're gonna do it that way moving forward? Is that going to stay that way, or will there be changes? Will there be maybe a little bit of a feeling out process as we go?
I'd see more of keeping multiple teams. I think that's what they're expecting in the college level also, just by, Sammy's going to be playing a Baldwin Wallace, and that's what they're planning on doing, more like the Jamboree outfit. Now, you could see him Sunday night, you might get 3 teams in this, say, Massillon already has a team, McKinley, maybe you have a Mass McKinley, Glen Oak, Jamboree, and bring out, the lights and everything that way. West Branch and a lot of the teams had JV teams, and a lot of those played on, Friday nights, under lights. So they had JV teams. They had to develop, we had a travel squad that played on Sunday, then a JV team that played Friday or Saturday. They just kind of made up their schedule as they went and brought in a couple teams. So yeah, it was really popular. I was reading up on it, 3 years ago, there was 20 teams in the state. Last year it was 162 teams. So the popularity, the college popularity, is just, we had 3 girls from West Branch that are playing in college now. One, Sammy, another individual wasn't going to, she was a really good soccer player, was going to nursing school. Now it's going to go play college flag football. And another individual is going to Mount Union, Ali Kanagi, and she's, now going to go play flag football, So the opportunities there, it becomes a official NCAA championship sport in the spring of 27. So not this upcoming year, but in 27 it becomes an official NCAA championship sport. So right now it's said 3 divisions. It just depends on how many schools there are.
Brian Beatty is our guest, Q92 Sports, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. So Ohio becomes one of 23 states now to officially sanction it. And then, of course, there's the 2028 Olympics out there. Mm-hmm. So you get a little bit of a jolt before flag football's debut in the 28 Olympics. So it sounds like you think this is going to be popular and getting popular more and more year by year.
I honestly do. It is really fun to watch. I mean, it's not the powder puff games you usually saw, the juniors versus senior type thing. I mean, West Branch would come to the line of scrimmage and audible, they're reading defensive schemes. It's a 5-on-5 in the high school, 7-on-7 in the college level. ESPN's really big on it. Sammy actually is going to be representing the Cleveland Browns, and there's actually some local girls, 2 from Hoban, another girl from West Branch, Allie, girl from Ursuline, girl from Poland, Columbiana. They're going to be representing the team at the Nationals, and they're actually the Cleveland Browns representatives. And so it's the popularity is there. ESPN's, televising it. So, they can get the advertisements that way. That's where it is. And to be honest, the NFL wants this because they're getting the next generation of moms loving football. So that's, they have a reason to be, soaking this money into it. And then, like I said earlier, it's a great Title IX filler for colleges. It's not really expensive. You have the facilities. It's not really expensive to outfit the teams. And, it's just another opportunity for women, to be involved. And, you look here in Stark County alone, they have that NFL league now down at, I want to say Monument Park, down in that area. That's really popular. And I love seeing the kids younger playing flag instead of that full contact until they get in the 6th, 7th grade. It's better for them.
So let's just kind of look forward here. We sit here in 2026. How long do you think it'll be until all, if not all, most of the county schools would have girls flag football?
I would say Stark County is going to be one of the top. I was just reading something. North Canton actually just put out for a head coach. They're looking for a coach. Mass and McKinley already has it. They have great programs. Actually, Coach Moore's wife runs the Massillon program. Okay. So, they have clinics going on. They're practicing, they have their own X page and everything. McKinley's very, really has a program going. Glen Oak's the same way. So Marlington's had it for a few years. I see these teams jumping on fairly quick, just with the popularity and, as it, they see these girls and the opportunity for the next level, for, academic or athletic and academic scholarships is going to be there because the colleges are, growing as we speak. So there's a lot of athletic opportunities for these girls. It's, you get a lot of basketball players, track, that maybe don't have the times to be a track athlete, but can play that flag football and be athletic that way. So
it's interesting. I'm anxious to see there's always a quick pop in popularity to things. And then I want to see, like, if it stays, if it grows bigger, if you start having, like, varsity teams, a junior varsity team, a freshman team. I mean, this could go crazy, Brian, if you're
it's
really thinking about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's this area of the country. It's anytime you can get a football out there, it seems like it's going to catch on. So it's been fairly big in the South. Florida, they've had it sanctioned for a while. I want to say the last 8 years. So there's a lot of talent. Nebraska actually is the biggest school that actually has it at the collegiate level. And I just was reading College of Charleston is going to have it in the 27. So I see other schools, picking it up here, the larger schools.
Interesting. Brian Beatty, our guest, Q92 Sports. So we also talked about something else today, and it had to do with collegiate, where some sweeping changes are coming down, and pretty much you're going to have 5 years of eligibility once you get to college to do your thing. Yeah, you get to transfer once. If you transfer again, there's going to be a penalty. You're going to have to sit out. But you've got to be done and out by the time you're 24 years old. I think it's a good rule. I'm glad somebody finally stepped up and said, okay, we got to put a stop to some of this nonsense going on. What's your take on the NCAA new rule, and where do we kind of go from there?
Yeah, I think it's a good rule. I believe it's called the Cruz Law. It's something. It just needs someone had to get somewhat of control with everything going on. It's 5 years, like you said. It starts, as soon as you graduate. It doesn't matter if you go to junior college, any of the level, Division 2, 3. NAIA that way. So your clock starts as soon as you start playing college athletics. So you have the 5 years. So I think it's good. It is going to probably limit the Division 1 scholarships. I think it's going to be even harder for kids to get it, because now instead of having that red shirt year where you can develop, they want a kid, come in and start playing. You have 5 years now. When I went to school, you could only play 4 years. If you took that redshirt year, you couldn't play at all. So you do have the opportunity to now play for 5 years, which is nice, but it will limit, kids are going to have to start, looking at maybe develop at the JUCO level, develop at the 2 or 3 and move up from there. I thought Charlie Baker, who is with the NCAA, really made a great comment. It said that of the 550,000 college athletes, 98% of them are not going to play pro. So, that's a number. 2% of them make it pro. So we need to get back to the academic side of college athletics, and I think this is a good step towards that.
I wonder if there's always going to be a player, or maybe a parent, or maybe even a university that's going to want to push the envelope here. And do you still think we're going to have a lot of these? What's the word I'm looking for? They want to challenge your ruling, or they want to take some. Like we've seen a couple things, go to court, and judges in a certain town that there happens to be a really big university across the street. They'll rule in favor of the player, whether it's for transferring or anything else. Do you think we're still going to see that, or will this pretty much cut that out?
I'm not positive on this. What my take on this is that this is coming through Congress, and you hate when the government gets involved with this, but this will give you some antitrust power. So with the lawsuit side of things, now I've read that if now there's already 50 lawsuits in place. A lot of them have to deal with the 2022 class. They kind of got stuck in this. You're 2022, you're done. So that it has a little bit to do. Some of it's with the 19-year-old type thing. You can't do that. Sit out in 8th grade or go to 8th grade for 2 years. One thing I did find interesting, if you're not 18, you can do that. I want to say they say a gap year. You don't have to roll in college right away and, go into college when you turn 18, and you can have that gap year. So you could do like community, you don't have to actually go into college right away. You can have that gap year if you're a younger graduate that way. So that's interesting. The lawsuits, something that does. I know the SEC and Ohio, the SEC and the Big Ten, I say Ohio State or Big Ten, was not for the cruise because it does give a little bit more antitrust. So, now we got to start looking at that. How are they going to react to this? And that's a whole nother day and another topic on how things are going to play out that way.
For sure. And it's kind of, while I have you and the fact that you did go to the University of Louisville and have a wonderful career, we talk about Ohio State, we talk about Michigan, Texas, USC, Florida, Indiana, Notre Dame, all the big, a place like Louisville then, and what Louisville is now as far as athletics and revenue and things like that, how would they look at a situation like this?
That's a great question. I was just thinking about that. We were talking about it today about the, if the SEC and the Big Ten would separate. When I was at the University of Louisville, and up to basically when they started NIL, University of Louisville was one of their athletic department was separate from the university. So they were actually a profitable athletic department, with their football team and their basketball team for sure was very profitable in baseball. So they, with all sports combined, they were a profit, they made a profit. Now, since that, and I've been reading articles since then, since NIL, they're over.
Yeah, they're unbelievably in debt.
Yeah, they're so far in debt. And that just shows you how it affects. So, you read about the SEC and Big Ten want to jump. How are they going to be able to, if they take all their sports with them, provide for all their Olympic sports or non-rev sports? It's impossible to be able to do that. So do they just jump and make a football conference, a basketball conference? And then is it really college athletics? And that's what scares me. And, then it just becomes a minor league system. In my opinion, it takes complete away the colleges. I don't know. It's a scary situation. But, there's no way, they can afford, even, your Alabama, Ohio State to jump and be able to afford everything across the board equally, unless they become private and then they don't have to follow Title IX regulations and things like that. Then, then it just becomes a real slippery slope that
crazy. I read this article. I thought of you right away. Oh my God, Louisville, they are tens of millions, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, Louisville,
millions.
The basketball
and at one time they were one of the but they used to be in the red all the time. I mean, they did great with their arenas. They owned their arenas. They owned Papa John's Stadium. Now it's I think L&N Stadium, and the Yum Arena. They owned that, so they were making profits after profit. But now with NIL and everything, it's impossible to be really profitable. I mean. And the ACC is, they're, they don't have the TV, as much TV money as, of course, the SEC and the Big Ten. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really growing nuts. Brian Beatty is our guest, Q92 Sports. Brian, I also wanted to, you had sent me a little message a couple of minutes ago about you wanted to speak on behalf of the Louisville community. Lost a couple of really great people, a couple of great supporters. Gary Muleman and Rick Wilson here recently. I know you wanted to speak on behalf of the loss to the Louisville community and what they meant, and I kind of want to just kind of give you the floor here for a couple of minutes and talk about Rick and Gary.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Sam. Yeah, first, Gary Muleman, just about 2 months ago, we lost him. Just a great man. He was one of the founding fathers of the Touchdown Club. His sons all played here at Louisville. Was involved with the Booster Club. Was our main scoreboard operator for years. His daughter taught in the district for years, and just a true great individual. His grandson, I know he loved watching him play. He's going to probably, to me, one of the best quarterbacks in the county this year. Carter Muleman, he's over at Jackson. So just a great family. I just wanted to give a shout out, to the Mulliman family that, we're all thinking of them, here in Louisville, and, I'm just being part of the Louisville community. And the other individual we just lost last week is Rick Wilson, and that was a tough one. Also, he coached with my dad for years, over 20 years in the Little Leopards. I played with Danny. We were water boys all the way growing up through Little Leopards. And he was always at every touchdown club meeting, always vocal. I know him and Gary and Rick were always listeners of the program. And once again, his grandkids are coming up. He has Owen and Drake and Chase, all his grandkids coming up. And it's just two great, solid individuals that I just really just wanted to give, my respects to, their family, Judy Mulliman and Kay Wilson and all their family and friends, that, we're thinking of them, and, they'll be up there watching them, and listening to us on the radio, right, Sam? Up there. So, yeah. So I just wanted to give that shout out, and I just wanted to say a few words there. Thank you for letting me do that.
You got it. Anytime. Very well said. And I know those were a couple of pillars of the community. I knew Rick a little bit.
Yes.
And just, and of course, Gary's a great guy. I called a lot of, Carter's basketball games here the last year or so over at Jackson. So it's sad when you lose people like that, and it kind of reverberates without the community. Hey, I appreciate you coming on today and talking with us and sharing some stories and kind of some current news with the OHSAA and NCAA. Always good to catch up. Have a great rest of the weekend. Enjoy that pool, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks, Sam.
There he goes. Brian Beatty, Q92 Sports.